The utility truck pulls into the open garage and the officers hop out to grab coffee, but masked men strapped with ammo roll up on them and at gunpoint start barking orders they expect everyone to follow if they don't want to get clapped. One cop, though, sitting tight in the car after already sending out a signal, refuses to step out, so the crew's forced to break into the truck. Things get messy fast when two officers try to make a move and instantly get lit up. One of the masked guys isn't happy about the bloodshed, but the mission's gotta keep rolling. With police already en route, they pop the back door of the truck and light up the first car, wiping out the men who were straight up defenseless against their heavy firepower. The next cars pulling up get the same smoke, but as more units flood the scene, the crew suddenly has their hands full. One of the masked men catches bullets and drops, which sends the rest into rage mode as they double down, spraying rounds and dropping another cop before finally overwhelming the squad. With no more pushback, the hijackers slide into the truck and their getaway ride, then dip out while the tech guy steers them through the escape route. Back at base, they ditch their fits and stash their weapons to dodge a trace. Ray's heated at Bosco for kicking off the shootout before the mini cavalry even pulled up. And yeah, losing a crew member stings, but they all knew the risks. Ray wanted the play to go smooth, but now they're officially tagged as cop killers and he knows the feds will be on their necks heavy. It's morning, and Big Nick scales the window into his house and heads to the kitchen for a quick fix breakfast. Debbie pulls up and starts pressing him on his shady moves he always blames on work, but the text he accidentally sent to her phone straight up exposes his side quest.
What was so hot then? Is that a work text?
He tries to gaslight it back on the job, but she's had enough, so she scoops up the kids and starts dipping. He tries blocking her, but she gets emotional, then goes full hands-on, forcing her way through. While he's still low-key stunned by what just went down, a call comes in and he heads to the crime scene. He shows up late to the party and tries pointing out the obvious, trading a quick light back and forth with the crew before they hit him with the details already pulled. When he hears the truck's empty, his head snaps, but he still calls the setup straight genius. A little ways off, Bosco's on his own vibe, snapping pics of the scene. They give him more eyewitness reports when Bob from Legal slides in, calling him a
gangsta cop in the flesh.
Nick instantly throws a tantrum his way, demanding why he's even there since it's not a Fed case. At their base, the crew breaks down the situation and the amount of heat now on the investigation, and when Nick's name drops, it's clear he's not exactly on their friends list. Meanwhile, at the LA Sheriff's Station, the squad's brainstorming the who's, why's, and how's, with Ray's name popping up. Nick doesn't care that he just got out on parole a few months ago. He insists no suspect gets left off the board. Donnie's at the club bartending when he scoops up a forgotten ID card, then dips over to chill with the crew. Hours later, Big Nick slides in and starts messing with him, dropping nasty jokes and teasing. The convo ends up circling around the type of bar they're running where both supposed bad guys and cops pull up to vibe. Donnie just shrugs it off, saying it's probably the cheap booze. As he heads out and hops in his car, Nick rolls up calling him another name, then drops him with punches till he's fully knocked out. When Donnie wakes up, he's surrounded by straight gangsta cops, half-naked women moving through the house. He swears they've got the wrong guy, but they throw a picture at him showing him in a sus interaction, then start reminding him of all his dirt. The grand theft auto charge, the attempted murder case, and that wild fastest speeding ticket in California. The crew clowns him like they always do, then press him about what's really up with the dude in the photo. Donnie says he barely even knows him since the bar's wide open to everybody. They warn him that this squad doesn't play fair and will do him dirty with zero due process. He knows they're dead serious, but he still pushes back, saying he's not on whatever they're implying. They don't buy it, and Nick locks him in a choke from the back till he's about to black out. Donnie finally taps out and agrees before Nick lets go. He tells them his role is just driving, nothing major, and on top of that, the crew never fills him in on their actual plans. A while back, Bosco and another guy slid up on him at the bar and offered him the gig. Turns out Ray's instincts were right all along because everything keeps looping back to him. He runs them through everything, pulling up to the crew spot and meeting the heavy hitters, Ray and Ensign. To test his driving, the boss throws him behind the wheel. He brushes off the call to buckle up, but once the ride kicks into full throttle, Ray low-key snaps his seatbelt on. Donnie drifts into a corner at top speed, and while the boss points at the danger straight ahead, he stomps the gas, slicing between two trucks and dodging another near crash before flying down the road. Ray's shook at his guts, but stays quiet. He tells Big Nick that Ray was so hyped he gave him his first gig. The job's heavy with stacks of cash that wear out some of the crew, but Ray makes sure every bill gets screened so no tracked money slips in. Donnie swears he doesn't know where the money went and the cops buy it, so they tell him to chill, play it cool, and wait for their call. On his way back, Ray hits him up with quick details on the next job. Big Nick hits the mall, spots his wife and kids, but she just locks eyes and keeps walking, and he doesn't even move to say a word. At the station, they dig up the fallen soldier from the crew and lock his ID, getting one step closer to the crew's play. Ray later rolls past the Los Angeles bank that oversees all the others and tells Donnie to take it in, calling it the bank no one's ever touched. They slide to a vantage spot and he lays it all out, the insane security around the perimeter. On top of that, Ray breaks down how over 50 failed attempts ended the same way, with every crew getting shut down at the lobby. His plan? He wants them to rob it. He drops a full breakdown of the inside setup, how lobby security scans everyone and pulls law enforcement details like it's nothing. The place is so stacked with cops it could pass as a precinct. Then he points out the real issue, the bills. Each one's tagged with a serial number, and any that go missing are flagged and traced. But there's a loophole. Unfit bills get their numbers wiped, marked as non-existent, and a single counting room can spit out 30 million of that ghost cash before it gets shredded. That's the play. Steal the unfit bills, and no one's coming to claim them. The cops start piecing their evidence together, linking different crew members with what they already know, and trying to pin down both their style of operation and the way they live. It's a huge case for them since everyone tied to it already has an unsolved one on the board, so landing one of them could mean clearing out multiple cases in one shot. During a breather with the boys, Big Nick gets pulled aside by a lawyer who casually hands him divorce papers.
You all right, bro?
Yeah, I guess I'm getting divorced.
For the job itself, Ray lays out how the random blackouts happening lately could be their perfect window to grab the cash. Ensign presses him on how he even got this kind of inside info, but the guy plays it cool and keeps quiet. Donnie sneaks into the facility posing as a food delivery guy and they check him top to bottom, even scanning his ID before waving him through. He drops a pack for the staff, then heads into the restroom where he hides another one in the ceiling. Big Nick suspects the crew's not just after money, but that the cash might be a smokescreen for something even bigger. The rest of the squad think he's talking wild and straight up impossible, but he doubles down on his theory anyway. Meanwhile, Ensign's daughter Maloa welcomes her boyfriend, who's just trying to take her out for dinner. The kid shows up confident, but Ensign drags him over to his rowdy crew of friends and scares the life out of him with some tough talk. The message lands, and once the teasing's over, the poor guy's told to leave. At a cafe later, the crew are chilling over food when the cop tailing them steps up and starts quizzing Donnie like he's some old buddy. He then switches to Ray, pretending to know him as a football player, and when Ray denies ever being that guy, the cop still won't drop it. He even claims he used to rock the same jersey number as him. Ray's patience is running out, so he finally tells the dude to back off. Another cop then swoops in, apologizes for the hassle before walking away. Donnie's now a suspect to the crew, and at the car, Ray wants to know if he's for or against them, and the driver makes it clear he's in for the job, but still holds his ground. Back at their base, they tear through him, looking for a wire but find nothing, and Ensign is the one who throws the first punch straight into his stomach. Ray presses a gun to his eyes, demanding to know who he really is, and Donnie swears he's not a cop, but admits that the officers rounded him up and grilled him about the crew, though he gave them nothing useful. He warns them that the cops know every one of their faces, then adds that if they want to scrap the mission, he'd understand. And Ray studies him for a moment before lowering the gun, holding his stare, and finally telling him they're still meeting next Friday while making it clear he should keep feeding that to his cop buddies. Nick later shows up at his friend's place just like planned and runs into Debbie and her new man, and the bitterness boils over as he needles the guy with insults, shoving him and talking filth right after signing the divorce papers. When he's told to leave, he flat out refuses until he's done saying his piece, and he even points out that Debbie still has his name tattooed on her butt cheek, warning the new man to remember that whenever he's with her before finally walking out. At the clothes store, Donnie meets with the cops and presses them on why they had to put on a show in front of the crew. To Ray, it isn't a big deal because the team can't afford to cut him loose, and Donnie gives them the date of the heist, then asks if he's safe now that he's passed them the plan. Big Nick gives him his word, and that's all he gets. Ray is at the shooting range when Nick shows up making sure he's spotted, and he takes his place to fire while the ex-convict works on his own target. When Ray finishes, he packs up and leaves, and Nick walks over to check the sheet he left behind, balling it up and tossing it after seeing how sharp his shooting really is. Ray pulls up at the crib and finds the lady with no clothes on. She steps inside, and Big Nick pops out the bathroom, towel in hand, drying his face, but the crew boss doesn't even say a word. He just walks up, locks eyes with him, then heads inside. After the cop dips, the lady tells Ray she did everything he asked. Big Nick slides to the kid's school and from the fence calls out to his daughter, who pulls up. They mess around a bit while he's asking about her new spot and then her sister. The bell cuts recess short, so she heads back to class, and he goes back to the car where everything hits at once, breaking down crying before pulling himself together and zooming off. Friday hits, and the squad's getting ready for the mission, with Ray putting Donnie on game with the gun while the cops stack up too, getting set for whatever's coming. The cops post up at the location and don't wait long because the crew pulls up in broad daylight, strapped heavy, enough artillery to wow even the cops who are still holding back till the crime kicks off. They roll into a local bank, Pico Rivera, and straight off they fire into the ceiling to set the tone, making everyone hit the floor and tying a few hands. Staff and customers get lined up and told not to play dumb since it's just about the money. Phones get snatched, ground rules laid down till the job's wrapped, then the manager gets pulled to a desk for instructions. The manager's told to call 911 and lay it out, demanding 10 mil in unmarked bills or else hostages start dropping, and any move to push the cops in early will only rack up more losses. Nick and his crew get a message from dispatch, and before they can tell them to chill and not ruin the setup, sirens start blaring from behind, so Nick steps out to push them back, but it flops, and Bob's instantly on him like why'd they even let the crew slide into the building with zero resistance, but Nick just shrugs it off since he was only waiting for a crime before clamping down. The manager makes the call, and within minutes, after opening the vault, the office phone rings and it's Officer Prada trying to squeeze info out of him. He's not giving Nick what he needs, so Nick hangs up and signals for a hostage to get taken in and shot, and one of the crew pulls it off, dragging her inside before everyone hears the gunshot pop. Outside, Nick and Bob are already bumping heads over his style that just might have gotten a hostage smoked, but Bob's main gripe is Nick letting it all play out in the first place. Prada rings back trying to confirm details, but the manager's stressing that they just bring the cash and stop putting more hostages at risk. If they call back without the bag, somebody else gets dropped. Ray calls Nick from the window, asking if he's enjoying the show, and Nick says yeah, but he wants to know their exit plan. Ray claims he doesn't even know yet, but what's for sure is he's not leaving in cuffs. The tactical unit pulls up a map of the building and are mid-analysis when a loud explosion rips through the place, the crew blasting open the vault. Mac, who's not even inside, taps into the Federal Reserve and scoops up some key intel. Nick and his guys find a sewer line on the map that's been cemented, and it hits him that the crew's running a different play. He wants to roll in regardless, even as Bob's yelling for them to chill and wait for the chopper with the money. Nick ignores him, grabs his gear, and starts moving on the bank, which makes the rest of the sheriff's squad back him up. He storms the place, breaches in, and finds hostages tied up with their faces covered. He hits the restroom and sees a lady sobbing in there, probably the one they thought was dead. Meanwhile, the thieves ghost out through a tunnel, and when the rest of the sheriff team joins him, all they see is a bank wiped clean with zero trace of the crew. Mac drops the stolen intel to the crew while Ray and Ensign link up as two of the boys roll an armored truck into the LA Apex Bank, flexing like they're legit Pico Rivera security. They slide through the back route and run into another guard who goes full TSA on their IDS before waving them in. Dude lets them wheel the cash out the truck but throws shade about being late, which instantly puts the crew on notice. They play it cool, agree, and push the box of cash inside while Bosco, now cosplaying as an engineer, sneaks into the manhole to jack into a central control unit. Security all over the building got eagle vision on these guys, one even stepping off his zone to size them up. The cash hits the zone where Luigi's posted up to count, while Ray and Ensign chill outside the restricted area. Nick and his squad dip out the bank with updates for Bob, who's still cooking up strategy. Inside, Donnie's stashed in the cash box, and right on cue, Bosco kills the power, sending security into full panic mode. They start moving people out of the counting rooms while they troubleshoot, but Ray and Ensign stay tucked in their box. Donnie fires up his EMP toy and glitches the cameras, giving himself space to slide out. Meanwhile, some staff who've been waiting too long get impatient and ring in, but it's Mac who picks up, telling them to chill before bouncing the call back inside. Chief Security's done with the blackout, so he pushes for an override. An officer heads to manually check the counting room, forcing Donnie to hide in a corner like his life depends on it. The officer wants Luigi to pull up, but Ensign jams the walkies so comms fall apart, pushing the officer to track Luigi down in the cafeteria instead. Donnie starts stuffing nylon bags with cash from another part of the room while the officer grabs Luigi and heads back in with him. Donnie sends the bagged money through the shredder that's totally dead, so it just drops into the waste bucket. Luigi and his crew walk back in, so Ray signals Donnie to dip and he cracks open the vent. He's almost caught slipping, but he moves quick and slides inside before the guys look around and find nada. The officer in charge lets them kick off counting again, and with Bosco flipping the power back on, he tells the rest of the counting squad in other rooms to get back to their posts. Meanwhile, Donnie's crawling through the vent, locked in on the map he's been following. Out on the road, Nick and his boys are flooring it toward the robbers while dropping a code 5 so the suspects don't catch on. Luigi's partner clocks a dip in the cash setup inside the box and points it out, but Luigi just shrugs it off and says they should keep counting. Once the count's done, he hands over the cash with a little side advice for later. One guy loads the trash into his truck while Ray rolls the already counted cash back into their armored ride. Donnie hits the vent outlet, peeks through, then steps down into the toilet, the same spot he used last time he pulled up his delivery. He gears up with the ID card he swiped from the bar and grabs the meal pack he stashed before. The trash truck links with another one running as a decoy, and they swap routes smoothly. Donnie drops off the lunch to the ladies and starts heading out, while Ray and Ensign bounce too, but security holds them up to reconfirm the drop. After a bit, they get waved off. Donnie hits a snag at the lobby when security questions why he's not signed in according to their logbook. He says he's got nothing to add since he signed in with the last guy on the lady shift. One of the cafeteria ladies notices the food's trash and storms out to rant, calling the lobby crew to hold the delivery guy, and the guard instantly locks in. Bosco's on the move as Ray drives out of the facility, and after a sharp interception, Bosco hijacks the trash truck from one of the drivers. Nick and his squad spot Donnie strolling down the street like he owns it, so they lock him as the prime suspect, grab him, bundle him into the car, and start landing heavy punches while firing questions. Donnie mutters a location through busted lips, and Ray barely catches the muffled words when Mac calls in to confirm Donnie's been bagged by the deadly cop squad. The crew scoop the cash from the dump spot, torch anything that could trace back to them, then gear up to dip. Ensign checks in on the missing two, but Ray tells him they're done for, so the rest roll out. Nick and his boys hit the spot Donnie coughed up and end up just a few cars behind the robbers in a traffic jam. Both sides know it's about to get messy, so the thieves strap on bulletproof vests while the cops step out ready for smoke. Ray sets up position and sprays at the squad, dropping one officer, and chaos follows as bullets fly both ways with the cops pushing forward and others looping around to cut them off. Bosco's unlucky and catches a headshot, but Ray makes sure to clap back, putting a cop down with a knee shot. He and Ensign break from the road into the streets, but Nick keeps tailing. Another unit blocks them off, gunning Ensign while Ray clips a cop's arm in retaliation. Nick stays locked in pursuit, chasing Ray through fences until his shot rips through a weak divider and digs into Ray's body, slowing him down. Ensign's still leaking heavy, fighting for breath, and Ray's barely standing but refusing to quit. Even busted up, he tries to rush Nick, but the cop lines up clean and tags him again, stacking injuries. For the last charge, Ray throws himself at him, but Nick's bullet finally ends it, dropping him for good. Nick pulls back up to the car and sees Donnie already dipped, cuffs hanging loose.
What the fuck?
They check the bad guy's stash, and instead of money, it's just dusty piles, which leaves them low-key shook. Bob pulls through, gives Nick some words for the fallen homie, and drops the bomb that every single bill in the reserve is already counted for. Ray's rattled by the whole mess, so he slides into a bar looking for Donnie, but the bartender says he quit a few days back. While chilling, he clocks Luigi and his partner flexing their IDs right on their chest, and the framed pic on the wall straight up, shows the trash truck drivers, with Mac and Donnie posted up as players and coaches respectively. Ray steps outside and instantly locks eyes on the Federal Reserve Bank of LA, and his jaw just drops, no cap. Meanwhile, Donnie's out here serving drinks at another bar, while the rest of the crew is off vibing. Plot twist, Donnie was the actual brain who pitched the idea to Ray, but Ray took over since the squad was his. Donnie fed him all the info on the reserve and let him run point, while keeping the other guys in the dark. He's got full access to the cash too, as he's seen straight up taking deliveries. At the bar, he bumps into a customer working at the Diamond Exchange right across the street, and instantly another idea sparks in his head.